Horse refuses to move for days when farmer realizes why he is shocked. The sun had set and the darkness had started to creep into the fields. As Farmer John made his way back home, he noticed that one of his horses was standing still in the middle of the field. He walked closer to the horse, but it didn't move an inch. "Come on, boy," he said, gently patting the horse's back. "Let's head back to the stable." But the horse didn't budge. Farmer John was puzzled. This wasn't like his horse. It was a hard worker and always followed his commands. He tried pulling the horse with ropes, but it wouldn't move. He then tried tempting it with some hay, but the horse just ignored it. "Come on, boy," he urged again, but the horse remained motionless. Farmer John was perplexed. He had no idea what was wrong with the horse. He decided to leave the horse for the night and try again in the morning. The next day, Farmer John returned to the field, and the horse was still there, standing still like a statue. He had never seen anything like it before. He tried everything he could think of to make the horse move, but nothing seemed to work. As the days passed, Farmer John became more and more worried. The horse was not eating or drinking and seemed to be in a trance-like state. He was at his wit's end and he knew he had to do something. Hey there, Viral Videos here. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell. We post the most beautiful, amazing and scary videos every single day. Let's proceed with the video. He called his veterinarian, who examined the horse and found nothing physically wrong with it. The vet suggested that it could be a psychological issue and he prescribed some medication to calm the horse's nerves. Farmer John tried the medication, but it had no effect on the horse. It was as if it had given up on life. He was desperate to find a solution. What could be wrong with the horse? Why was it refusing to move? The questions kept gnawing at his mind and he knew he had to investigate. As the days passed, Farmer John couldn't sleep at night. He kept thinking about the horse and what could be wrong with it. He decided to stay up and observe the horse at night, hoping to find some clues. But as he watched the horse, he saw nothing out of the ordinary. It just stood there unmoving. The mystery of the horse's behavior had taken over Farmer John's life. He was becoming obsessed with it. What could it be? Was it something he had missed? As the days turned into weeks, Farmer John was losing hope. He had tried everything he could think of, and yet the horse remained immobile. But little did he know that the answer to his problem was just around the corner. As Farmer John sat in his chair, pondering the horse's behavior, he realized that he had to investigate further. He had to figure out what was causing the horse to refuse to move. He decided to spend the night in the field with the horse. He set up a small tent and prepared to observe the horse. As the night went on, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The horse remained still, and the only sound was the rustling of leaves in the wind. As the night wore on, Farmer John's eyes grew heavy and he started to doze off, but just as he was about to fall asleep, he heard a noise. It was a low growl, and it seemed to be coming from beneath the horse. Farmer John sat up and looked around, but he couldn't see anything. He waited for a few minutes and the growling stopped. He was about to lay back down when he heard it again. This time it was louder and he could hear scratching sounds coming from under the horse. He knew he had to investigate. He got up and walked slowly towards the horse. As he got closer, he saw a small animal, a fox, curled up beneath the horse. The fox looked up at him with big brown eyes and let out a soft whimper. Farmer John was amazed. He had never seen a fox so close before. But then he noticed something else. The horse was protecting the little fox. It had positioned itself in such a way that the fox was sheltered from the cold wind. Farmer John was touched by the horse's compassion. He realized that this was the reason the horse had refused to move. It was protecting the little fox from the elements. As he sat there watching the horse and the fox, he knew he had to do something to help. He couldn't leave the little fox out in the cold. He decided to build a small shelter next to the horse, where the fox could stay warm. The next day he went to work gathering wood and supplies to build the shelter. When he returned to the field, he saw the horse and the fox still together. He started to build the shelter next to the horse, and as he worked, the horse watched him with curious eyes. Finally, the shelter was complete and he beckoned the little fox to come inside. The fox hesitated at first, but then, as if understanding what was happening, it crawled inside the shelter. As Farmer John watched, the horse stood guard outside the shelter as if protecting the little fox. He knew that he had learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes it's not about forcing an animal to do what you want it to do. It's about understanding their behavior and learning to work with it. The horse had refused to move because it was protecting the little fox, and now with the shelter, both the horse and the fox were safe and happy. As Farmer John walked back to his farmhouse, he realized that this was a moment he would never forget. He had witnessed the incredible bond between two animals, and it had changed him in a profound way. As Farmer John walked back to his farmhouse, his mind was racing. He couldn't stop thinking about the horse and the fox and the incredible bond between them, but something else was nagging at him. He had a feeling that there was more to the story. The next day he returned to the field with a renewed sense of purpose. He watched the horse and the fox, and as he did, he noticed something strange. The horse seemed to be communicating with the fox in a way he had never seen before. It was almost as if the horse was talking to the fox and the fox was listening. Farmer John couldn't believe it. Was he imagining things? He had to get closer to investigate. As he approached, the horse turned to face him, and Farmer John saw something that shocked him to his core. The horse had a strange marking on its face. It was a symbol, a circle with a line through it, almost like an ancient rune. He had never seen anything like it before. What did it mean, and why was the horse communicating with the fox? Farmer John knew he had to find out more. He spent the next few days researching ancient symbols and their meanings. He read about Native American and Celtic symbols, but nothing seemed to match the symbol on the horse's face. He was about to give up when he stumbled upon an old book in his attic. It was an ancient tome filled with symbols and legends from around the world. As he flipped through the pages, he saw a symbol that matched the one on the horse's face. It was an ancient Egyptian symbol, the Eye of Horus. According to legend, it was a symbol of protection and power, and it was often associated with the god Horus, who was known as a protector of animals. Farmer John couldn't believe it was the horse, some kind of mythical creature sent to protect the little fox. It seemed impossible, but he couldn't ignore the evidence before him. As he watched the horse and the fox, he realized that their bond was deeper than he had ever imagined. The horse was more than just a simple animal. It was a protector, a guardian sent to watch over the little fox and keep it safe from harm. And then, as if to confirm his suspicions, something incredible happened. The horse lowered its head and the little fox crawled onto its back. It was a sight that Farmer John would never forget, and it brought tears to his eyes. He had uncovered a secret, a legend that had been hidden for centuries, and now he knew that the horse and the fox were part of something much bigger than themselves. But there was still one more mystery to solve. What would happen to the little fox when the horse eventually moved on? Farmer John knew he had to find a way to keep them together, to protect their bond and ensure their safety, and he had an idea that might just work. But first he had to act fast. He had to make sure the horse and the fox were safe and that their bond remained unbroken. Farmer John's heart was pounding as he put his plan into action. He knew it was risky, but he had to try. He went to the local animal shelter and explained the situation to them. They were skeptical at first, but when he showed them the horse and the fox, they could see the bond between them. They agreed to take the little fox in and provide it with a safe home where it could be cared for and protected, and Farmer John made sure that the horse would be nearby, able to visit the fox whenever it wanted. As the days turned into weeks, Farmer John watched as the horse and the fox continued to interact. They would play together in the field, with the horse watching over the fox and making sure it was safe. And then one day something incredible happened. The horse gave birth to a foal. A beautiful little colt that was the spitting image of its mother. Farmer John couldn't believe it. It was a miracle, a sign that the bond between the horse and the fox was stronger than ever. As the weeks turned into months, the little fox grew stronger and more confident. It had a new home and a family that loved and cared for it, and the horse and the foal were always nearby, watching over it and protecting it. Farmer John knew that he had witnessed something truly special. The bond between the horse and the fox was more than just a coincidence. It was a symbol of hope, a sign that even the most unlikely of friendships could thrive in the face of adversity. As he looked out over the field, he saw the horse, the foal, and the little fox playing together in the warm sun. It was a sight that filled him with joy, and he knew that he had done the right thing. The horse had refused to move for days, but it was all for a good reason. It was protecting the little fox, watching over it and keeping it safe. And now, with the help of Farmer John and the animal shelter, the horse and the fox were able to live a happy life together, surrounded by love and protection. Farmer John knew that he had witnessed something truly special, something that he would never forget, and as he watched the horse and the fox playing together in the field, he knew that their bond was unbreakable, a symbol of hope and love in a world that so desperately needed it. What do you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching. See you next time.